because we know the truth about the Kennedy assassination and also the murders of Robert Kennedy and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and others in this country. We have studied them, we have documented them, and we know who did these killings. And for most of you, I'm sure you know as well, if you look into your conscience and you look into your heart. Because it's not hard to figure out why Kennedy was killed or who killed him. If you want to read one book about it, you can get Jim Douglas's book, JFK and the Unspeakable. But it's not a great mystery. Kennedy began to move for world peace. Kennedy began to move to dismantle the CIA. Kennedy began to support a change in racial relations in the United States. Kennedy also began questioning things that had to do with poverty. Well, they were killing on November 22nd, 1963, April 4th, 1968, June 6th, 1968, February 21st, 1965. Were not just men, they were killing hope. They were killing the leaders and the people that were speaking out on behalf of those who hoped for a better world. Kennedy was creating the conditions for a détente with the Soviet Union. He was moving to end the Cold War. He was moving to end the nuclear arms race and dismantle the nuclear weapons. He wanted peace in the world. He was supporting anti-colonialist struggles around the world, like Lumumba and others. While the CIA and the Pentagon were busy disrupting those countries and killing those people, Kennedy was trying to support them. And Kennedy came in direct confrontation with the CIA and with the Joint Chiefs of Staff. At the time of the Cuban Missile Crisis, it was only Kennedy and his brother in the room who did not want to go to nuclear war. Had they followed Curtis LeMay and gone into nuclear war at the Cuban Missile Crisis, they would have implemented the Strategic Interoperative Plan. This was the military plan to fly B-52 bombers in a parallel line out of Western Europe and Taiwan, across Russia and across China, simultaneously carpet bombing with Hiroshima-sized nuclear weapons. You and I would not be standing here today had LeMay had his way. He didn't care. He said if 5 Americans survive and 2 Russians survive, that means we won. But that's not my definition of winning, and it wasn't Kennedy's either. LeMay stormed out of the meeting saying, we've got to get rid of those sons of bitches, meaning the Kennedy brothers, and they did. What happened November 22nd, 1963 was a military coup d'etat. It was a takeover by the military industrial intelligence complex that Eisenhower warned about in his final speech, and that's his first draft. It includes intelligence. And that combination of the military and intelligence forces created a permanent war economy that still rules this country. We have spent $7 trillion since 9/11 boosting the Pentagon, boosting the CIA and the Defense Intelligence and the DIA, and boosting Homeland Security, instead of spending it on medicine, on schools, on health care, on food, on human needs, and on creating conditions around the world where everyone could survive. Instead, we put it into bombing people everywhere and creating enemies. They were killing hope, and they were killing democracy. Dr. Martin Luther King said that the 3 pillars of repression that had to be addressed were militarism. We often forget that one. Militarism, racism, and poverty. And those were the 3 that he tried